So here it is. Hey folks, it is Wednesday, August 21st. The time right now is 4:04 p.m. and the temperature is around 20 degrees Celsius. And I'm here standing just alongside the St. Lawrence Market. And for this one, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'll be joined by Ryan here. How's it going, Ryan?
Not too bad. How about yourself, Johnny?
Good. And just to give you a little backstory, back on July 2nd, I was recording a walk up George Street, which is just to the east of here in the St. Lawrence neighborhood. And I came across something that caught my eye and was rather interesting. It was a tiny home. And as it turns out, Ryan here is the gentleman behind that. So for this one, what we're going to do is we are going to walk west over towards where the tiny home is parked. And then Ryan is going to give us a tour of that. I believe it's tiny home.
Yeah, it's a tiny home. It's 28 square feet, so it's very tiny.
So Ryan's going to give us a tour of that, and on the way over there, we'll talk a little bit about what he is doing and why he's doing it. That sounds good to you?
Yes, sir.
And I understand you live in the St. Lawrence neighborhood.
Yeah, I live a couple blocks over from the market. Been here about 5 years. I love the neighborhood.
I lived here, I think, back in 2006. I quite liked it. And we're about to head down to Market Street, one of, I think, just 2 pedestrianized streets in downtown Toronto, something we could definitely use a whole lot more of. So, Ryan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background before we get into talking about the tiny home?
Sure. My name's Ryan. I'm 37 years old. I'm in the construction industry. I've been in there construction for about 15 years. 12 years of that were spent on the tools. 3 years of that, the past 3 years have been spent in construction safety. So I'm on a major project downtown right now for a large builder, and I take care of the health and safety and make sure everybody goes home to their families.
So it sounds like you have a strong background in, if you were to build a place for someone to live, safety would be the top of the list for you.
100%.
And you'd be quite good at it, I imagine.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah.
All right, so your project can be found at tinyhomes.ca, and I'll put a link to that as well as your Instagram and your TikTok down in the description if you're interested. But can you tell us a little bit about what is tinyhomes.ca and what it is you're doing?
Yeah, so tinyhomes.ca, that's my website. I'm trying to start a different alternative to housing the people that are in the homeless encampments. So across Canada, we've had a real big problem since COVID of the tents in the parks and the encampments. These encampments are not safe, and they're not conducive to having a healthy lifestyle. So if whatever you're suffering from, you can't really get better in a tent. You're worried about your stuff getting stolen. You're worried about people getting you while you're sleeping. You're exposed to the elements. It's not a healthy environment. So I created the tiny homes as a replacement to the tents. I don't believe it's a solution to the housing crisis. I believe the solution is to get more housing, but seeing as that's not going fast enough, I planned on rehousing people that are in the tents.
And so far, it's just a prototype that you've had built, correct?
So yeah, I started my little mission about a month and a half ago. About 3.5 months ago. It took me about 2 months to build my prototype. And I got it downtown and started advertising and trying to gain awareness about a month and a half ago.
So that would have been the unit we're walking to that I saw on George Street.
Yes,
months back.
Yeah, that would have been the unit. I parked it on a little quiet residential street, and then there was some construction that happened on that street, as was normal in Toronto, and I moved it to Front Street. And when I moved it to Front Street, I got a lot of feedback and a lot of reaction from people, and that kind of helped boost me up to talk to more people and to get people to get involved with the project.
Do you notice a lot of people passing by just kind of stopping and taking a look at it and then taking a closer look at it, wondering what is this?
100%. Everyone, a lot of people that walk by it, look at it, especially when I stop there and the door gets open. People just flock and crowds will build around it. They want to know what it is and more about it. It's a very hot topic when people see it.
Well, you mentioned the pandemic, and as someone who walks around the city basically full time, it seems as if homelessness is a lot more visible since then. Would you agree with that?
100%. I would say homelessness has almost tripled. The amount of people that are sleeping outside, it's really, really, really sad. And I just don't believe we have enough programs in place, and we don't have enough housing and supports. So the people that are homeless, a lot of them need mental health support and they need addiction support, and we need more of these services so that people aren't outside on the street.
100% fully agree with that. In fact, I think the most viewed video I did last year was just walking through the Allen Gardens when that encampment was kind of at its peak. And it was just amazing just to see how many people were inhabiting that park. And then you hear stories and you see the news of there being like fires and safety issues.
Yes.
So this is sort of a way to give people a little bit of dignity and a safe place.
Yeah, that's my favorite word with this actually is dignity. That people have a place that's dignified to live. And a tent definitely isn't dignified. Lately, we've had a lot of rain. I think in the last month we had record rainfalls. Mm-hmm. I couldn't imagine being on the ground and getting all the little belongings that I do have soaked in rain. And then the heat right after, it get all moldy, and it's not a healthy environment.
And that would be a deterrent to, say, going to a doctor's appointment or going to get treatment or going to visit a social worker, just knowing you're leaving all of your belongings behind.
To get stolen.
And in bad weather. So having a place where they could be stored indoors securely and safely.
100%. I couldn't imagine too trying to go to sleep without a wall around me, knowing that anyone can come up and whatever they want to do. You're very vulnerable when you're sleeping. And I'm sure people with mental health issues, being sleep deprived probably doesn't help with the issues that they're going through.
And we're about to walk through one of my favorite parks downtown, Birksey Park, right alongside the Flatiron Building. So we're on the east side of downtown, just east of Yonge Street, and the tiny home is parked just on the west side of Yonge Street. So we'll be there in maybe 5 or 6 minutes or so. So if someone wanted to support you in any way, is there anything they could do?
So there's definitely always the donation revenue stream. So through my website, people can donate. I'm also looking for help with social media, with marketing, with administrative. There's tons of ways that people can get involved. Just reach out and message me, and definitely there's ways to get involved.
There's the famous dog fountain. So what I'll do is I'll put a link to that in the description as well.
This park is home to about half a dozen people at nighttime. Every morning when I come through this park to go to work, there's at least half a dozen people sleeping here.
And as sad as that is, I think it's pretty typical probably for a space like this. Like I've seen that at Grange Park and pretty much every downtown park.
One of the biggest concepts with my bike with my tiny house that I like is the fact that it's mobile. You can move around. You can. The Grange, they just recently cleared out the encampments in that park, and when they cleared out the encampments, I don't know where those people went. I don't know what.
And where did their belongings go?
Exactly. I don't know where their belongings went, unless you just had like a little tiny tent with a backpack, and you were able to carry your stuff. Their belongings, unfortunately, probably went into the garbage.
So with what you've built, they could literally just hop on and pedal it to another spot.
Pedal it away, and they don't lose any of their stuff. It doesn't uproot their life.
So if, like, say, parking enforcement or an officer was like, hey, you can't be here, no problem.
Yes, right away.
Do you have any plans on working with the city?
So I would like to work with the city. Working with the city is the best solution, for the best outcome for this.
Yeah, working with them instead of
working
against
with them,
right?
not against them. I want to make sure that this is done in a way where everybody's happy. Eventually, though, I believe the city will approach me. I've been very, very, very transparent with who I am and how to get a hold of me. So eventually, I figure the city will. They will be contacting me.
Our team came together like, I don't want to say a lot.
Well, there's definitely a shortage of support services and shelters for people. So it'd be almost crazy for them not to explore all the alternatives, especially when someone is working basically for free, trying to do something to help alleviate one of our, probably the single biggest problem facing the city is the housing crisis.
So I think with right now, we got a lot of people on the affordable housing wait list. With the problem with the people getting on the affordable housing wait list is it takes a long time, and all the people that are in the parks that got to wait 18 months to be in these to get into these affordable housing, they got to wait in tents, and I don't think that's quite right, and it's not.
And how do they get contacted when it's their time? I'm sure a lot of them just drop off the list.
So I'm actually not sure if they drop off the list or not. I do know the city, they run a program called, I believe it's Streets to Homes. There's community support workers that walk around and they go to the encampments and they visit people and they
Classic Toronto right there, blocking the intersection.
And the people with the horns, it doesn't really help. It doesn't make them move faster. So there's people that from the city that go around and they visit the encampments and they check in on the people from time to time. And I'm sure when it's their time, they check in on them. But working with the city would be nice because the city knows who needs to get housed. The city could definitely help me out with that.
So what time frame do you think you'll have someone living in one of these units?
So I'm currently doing my first build for a client in Kitchener, not from Toronto, but from Kitchener. A mother reached out to me and she asked if I could get her son into one, and she funded it herself because I'm not quite yet up off the ground yet. So I'm doing a build for her, which will be uploaded on my socials when the build gets completed. And my first one should be in service by September 30th.
I would imagine cost-wise, nothing's really cemented because you've just built one, it's pretty bespoke. You don't have that economies of scale on your side.
Sorry, next time, thank you. So for cost, that's a really big question that a lot of people ask all the time. So for cost, the best I can say is it's more than $5,000, it's less than $10,000. The costs are very dynamic. They're going to change as production enters. When I start buying material in bulk, it's going to get cheaper. The panels that I make this out of, they're from a trailer factory that's 3 hours away from here. And I gotta go drive 3 hours there, 3 hours back to get these panels. And that's not cost effective. So when I buy a whole truck of these panels, that cost is really gonna change. When I buy steel from the supplier and I buy enough for 20 bikes, it's gonna change. So I can't really say about the cost yet, but best answer is more than 5,000, less than 10,000.
All right, well, thanks for answering that. And you might have noticed we've slowed down and stopped. And there's a reason for that. The tiny home is awaiting its reveal. I'll just do a quick walk around the unit itself, and then you're gonna let us in and give us a peek at what's going on inside.
Sounds great.
So here it is. So this is an e-bike attached to it.
So this is an e-bike. It's basically a giant tricycle. So it's a three-wheel bicycle, or a three-wheel bike. Under the Highway Traffic Act, this qualifies as a bicycle. That's why I'm able to park it here, and I don't actually have a parking ticket. You can park bicycles for free. I lock it up by putting a D-lock through the front wheel and the back wheel. So, because it's so large, I got mirrors here so you can see when you're riding the bike, just as you would on a car. Hop on, Johnny.
I'm riding the bike, and you can ride this on throttle or you could pedal it, right?
Yes.
And could the average person just pedal this down the street?
So yeah, it's in a very, very low gear. So it's easy to pedal, but you don't go very fast when you're pedaling. Maybe 5-6 kilometers an hour. It's about walking speed. But it is mobile, which is the whole point. Now, what I compare this to when people ask is if you've ever seen a pedicab, when there's three people in a pedicab plus the driver and the weight of the bike, they're like 1,000 pounds. And they seem to pedal around downtown just fine.
Awesome. So this is the back side. You've got your name written on there.
I really need to get some vinyl stickers and do up the advertising.
Some branding.
Yes.
It's kind of hipsterish handwritten. It works.
Or trying to find an artist if somebody wants to come do up the art for me. They got a big canvas to work on.
That's a great idea, actually. And you've got a QR code to your TikTok here. This one, I take it, goes to your website?
That's Instagram.
Oh yeah.
TikTok, and my website is above the door.
Please ring the bell and leave a 30-second message. Ring the bell and I'll post your message on TikTok and Instagram. And you've even got your phone number here.
Yes, sir. Just doing a live stream right now with Johnny. Peace and love.
What's up?
Yeah.
All right. And I noticed you've got a vent.
Yes. So there's a Dometic roof vent. It pumps a lot of air through, I think about 900 cubic feet a minute, which keeps it very ventilated during the summer. When it gets hot, it's nice to have good ventilation. On top as well, there's 200 watts of solar, so it gets more than enough power to stay charged up.
I'm noticing a lot of people are kind of gawking at it.
For sure. As soon as the door opens too, I usually get a crowd of people around.
All right, well,
so
let's have a look. What's the square footage?
So the square footage is 28 square feet. It's only 4 feet wide by 7 feet interior. Now, this right here is my favorite part, the key to the house, because people don't have keys to their tents. So this gives you safety and security. So this is the inside. The first things first is that turns on my lighting. And
all right, do you want me to crawl in there?
do you want me to show underneath first? Or?
Yeah, let's.
So a couple things I like to show off is the sofa here. It lifts up, and you got 12 cubic feet of storage, which is quite a bit of storage. So forget the tools back here, but this is the e-bike battery that provides power to the e-bike. And so you got a lot of storage under here for water, your clothes, stuff like that. When you're ready to go to bed at nighttime, you take this off, and then it slots in right here, and the other one slots in right here, which gives you a lot of bed space.
So wider than a standard single bed. Looks like
it's wider than a single, but smaller than a double. So a single is 38 inches. This is 42.
And then you have more storage down here.
Yeah. So if you had to at nighttime, you can put stuff under your bed. So one of the things I always love to show people is I'm 6'1", and I got a lot of space to my head. So one thing that's awesome too, which I'm gonna do, let me move over and Johnny, hop on in.
Take my backpack off.
Oh yeah, first. Sorry about that.
It's like being in a camper van.
Yeah.
Microwave.
So there's we're both two large, tall adults, and we're sitting in here just fine, which is awesome.
If you had a tablet or something, we could have movie night.
For sure. This is my desk, desk / storage. So anything you put on the shelf won't fall off when you're riding the bike around, because it locks like kind of like a suitcase. And then I got a lip up here, so anything stays up here. And my daughter has come in here a few times. What she likes is the material of this. It's like a giant whiteboard. So my daughter plays with markers in here.
You've got a vent, and there's a smoke alarm.
Smoke alarm and carbon monoxide detector, which is really, really important. So when you're using your little butane cooktop, it's really, really important to make sure that you're staying safe. And in the pillar right here, there's a 2.5 pound fire extinguisher. So there was a couple things on this model I wasn't able to add, just due to cost, because this is a prototype. I wanted to build it as cheaply as possible. The next model will have a sink. It's very easy to install a sink. I just haven't done it. And so sink over there, water tanks, and in the next model, the microwave won't be here though.
All right.
It was a lot to put the microwave in. I had to double the size of my battery, double the size of my solar. I had to get a crazy big inverter. And then to find out in hindsight that you need a pure sine wave inverter, not a regular modified sine wave. So I had to, it ended up costing like $1,000 to put the microwave in.
And there's no freezer, so...
Next model will have a fridge.
Oh wow.
So, I didn't do that because of cost. You can get your normal camping fridges, but they're $300-400. I just didn't add it due to cost.
Yeah.
Under the bed, there's more than enough storage, so you can put a camping fridge in there.
It's really impressive how much thought has gone into such a small space.
So your bedding I keep in here. So you got a sheet, you got a blanket. There's a chair in here. So for the size of the space, I think it's the layout is not too bad.
Oh, it's fantastic, I would think, and you're even improving it further. Now, is it just a Johnny question?
Yes.
Is it legal for someone to be back here while someone's pulling it on the bike? Is that? Because I know on a motorized vehicle, on a camper, you can, I think. But...
So, because this is classified as a bicycle, and it's an electric bicycle, so electric bicycle has different laws than bicycles. As a bicycle, yes, because you don't need seat belts, and there's less restrictions. On an electric bicycle, there would be an age restriction. You couldn't have somebody back here unless they were 16, and you must be wearing a helmet. Yeah,
because anything with a motor, you have to have a helmet.
Yes. So future models will not have a motor. Now, there's a couple different reasons for that. Number one, we all know homelessness and substance use kind of go hand in hand. So I don't want to open anyone up to a DUI or potentially get them in trouble. So if you're riding anything with a motor and you're intoxicated, you could be arrested. That's number one. Number two, it would be very sad to see if somebody was riding one of these. This does weigh about 700 pounds if somebody put stuff in it, and if they had an accident. I wouldn't want to see anyone get hurt for liability issues. I also wouldn't want to see the program get scrapped due to somebody getting hurt. So,
and it's really more of it's not so much a bicycle as it is a mobile home. You can just take it from place to place.
So the purpose of the bicycle portion is, if you wear out your welcome, to get out of the area. So if right now somebody came and says, "Excuse me, sir, you can't be here. I want to be able to get 2 blocks down, get 500 meters away, turn the corner," I can do that. You can't do that with a tent. Unless you happen to have a giant wagon with you and a whole bunch of however you're going to move your tent. But it's mobile, so you can move along.
Awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to point out or share with us?
I've shared everything about the house. I think I've told you guys it's fully weatherproof. These are called FRP panels. It's fiberglass reinforced plastic. So this is the same type of material that would be on the inside of your tub surround. So if anybody's in your tub, it's very durable material. It is insulated. This particular one doesn't have heat. My next model will have heat. I just did that due to cost, but the next one will have a diesel furnace in it. People definitely need to stay warm in the winter. It's off the ground. It's a safe environment, and that's all I'd like to say about that.
Yeah, I'm just noticing almost every single person walking by is like craning their neck, looking in, talking about it. So
For sure.
you're creating a bit of a word of mouth buzz.
100%.
That's for sure.
My favorite experience yet with this was I was doing a TikTok live stream, and I had my little cooktop set up, and as I was cooking, somebody came and stuck their head in the window while I was on live stream, and they're like, "Hey, how you doing? Do you live here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how you doing?" And they were so inquisitive to come and
Awesome.
look in through the window.
Well, I think what you're doing, you're really onto something. And even if you're not, it's such a worthy cause and it's worth trying. So I just want to personally thank you for everything you've done so far in your time and your effort.
Thank you very much. I think right now, while the tents are still in the parks, this is a viable option to get people into safer places than
Until
the tents.
they can get back on their feet and
Yeah,
be
so
properly housed.
Until there's still tents in the parks, I think this is viable. When the tents go away, I would like to see this go away as well.
Yeah.
Nobody should be living in substandard housing. Everybody deserves to be housed, regardless of their, their life, what they went through, blah blah blah. Everybody should be housed.
At that point, there might be another kind of market for this. Maybe someone who wants to go across the country on a bike, like,
For sure.
like an exploration.
I'm sorry, can you help me please? From this area, from this moment to the York Street, it's so far? If
York
I
Street?
forward?
No,
Yeah.
it's not far. It's like 5 minutes that way.
Thank you very
Just
much.
on the other
Is
side
it
of Union
Union
Station?
Subway Station?
On the other side of Union Station, it's on the north.
Very
Like
appreciate
right beside the hotel, the Royal York.
it. Other side.
Yeah,
Okay, I cross street.
on the other side.
Appreciate it.
Okay, have a good day. Well, she asked the right person, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more people. All right, well, I'm gonna get out and take another look at this from the outside.
For sure.
What I'll do is, again, I'll put links to all of your stuff down in the description, tinytinyhomes.ca, as well as your TikTok and your Instagram. Maybe one day you'll bite the bullet and get a YouTube channel.
Awesome. Actually, I do have a YouTube channel. I'm Tiny Homes on YouTube. I gotta start getting more content. Tiny Homes on YouTube.
All right, we will link that as well. But what a neat concept. And I'm sad to say, I'm looking forward to seeing more of these around the city. It's one of those things where it's a good thing, but it's also not.
So I'm looking forward to seeing less tents. Tents are not healthy. I'm looking forward to seeing less tents because in this, you're not homeless anymore. You have a home. It's a very, very tiny home. It's a humble home, but it is a home. And I want to see less people sleeping outside.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited to see.
And eventually you want this to be obsolete and not needed. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for
thank you again,
for
Johnny.
coming on the channel.
I really appreciate you coming down and visiting me. Thank you.
No worries. So again, there'll be links to everything down in the description. And I want to thank you guys for watching. So thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next one. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Yoink.